So IAD Real Estate is back and live today. We appreciate you joining us. Today we have a great topic on staging. And we think it's not only an incredibly important topic, but we actually think it's more and more used as the inventory starts to grow. We're going to see more and more of your clients expecting staging to be done in their homes. And we've always had that expectation on higher end properties. So today I'm joined by Marisa Salas from Showhomes Miami. How are you?
I am great. Thank you for having me today.
It's my pleasure. So, Marisa, as we were talking about before, IAD Real Estate is expanding across the state of Florida quite rapidly, and we are growing the brand. It's a huge brand from Europe that came over. We have 20,000 agents, and now we're looking to grow similarly here in the state of Florida and across the United States. And one of the areas that we work in more and more often is Miami. So, but as we know, Miami is its own market. So it's very different from the rest of the United States and the rest of the state of Florida. And with that, my question always comes up, on the staging side, because you guys are kind of a leading indicator on what's going on in the real estate market, right? You can see ebbs and flows, and agents engage you more and more often, in some markets. But Miami is red hot. Even today, it's red hot. So my question for you, and if you don't mind introducing kind of what you do at Showhomes, what you do offer to the agents and the clients, and what they can expect from Showhomes.
Well, what we do is obviously we stage homes, which means we decorate homes that are for sale. So all our services include everything, including the design. It includes furniture, area rugs, artwork, accessories, greenery, everything that makes a house feel like a home. Because what we want is when potential buyers walk into the property, that they fall in love with the house. So that's really what we do. We really feel that this is an emotional sale. So we try to convey that in our staging.
So in the past, I've heard there's statistics out there that said, an empty home, when someone had to move on and left it, blank, basically a blank canvas, it's difficult for most clients to really envision what the home would look like. And the space looks completely different with furniture than it does without. So would you say that you had some success stories that you might want to share?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when people walk into a vacant home, all they notice is everything that's wrong with the house. Also, it's hard for them to envision themselves in the home. So um, we also do owner occupied staging, which means when somebody's living in there, we also can stage it. But one example of a house we staged was a house in South Miami. I had seen that house in July. Realtor owners decided not to stage it. They decided to just leave their furniture. They decluttered it a little bit. So 10 months later, it's still on the market. It hasn't sold. It's a $3.5 million house now that's worth 3.5, right? It's not overpriced. That's what it's worth. Now it's getting offers for $2.5 million, $1 million less. So the realtor calls me back in and says, "Can you help me?" I'm like, "Yes, absolutely. But now you got to take everything out. Take out all that furniture." So we completely restaged it. They did a few minor little fixes, and they had an open house after we staged it, and they got 9 offers, of which 5 of them were cash offers at full price. Same house, different furniture.
All I can say is wow, right?
Yes.
It's basically taking, something that looks, and that's one of the more difficult, conversations as a realtor myself, having a discussion with a client of saying, "Hey, listen, it's not that your baby's ugly. It's that your taste is different than everyone else's. And again, the personalizations that you put on for yourself, you have to think about is this is someone else's house now, right? So how do you make it,
Right. So this is a very difficult conversation for realtors to have with their sellers. But I will tell you this, the best realtors are having this conversation with their sellers.
Sure.
All right. And not only that, but if you are a realtor and you are proposing this to your sellers, you're one of the few realtors that are offering it, because not every realtor is willing to step up to the plate and say, "Listen, this is a marketing tool." And a lot of owners are, a lot of sellers already understand the power of staging. They're just looking for that realtor that really believes in it too, to propose it, to make it happen. Because the results are there.
Well, that I would agree. And so a lot of the questions come up, because you're in South Florida and it's a very active market, but it's a very specific market. It's a tropical market. It's a kind of a beachy chic market, but it's also very fancy, high end. I mean, properties in South Florida
Yes.
are selling anywhere from $1 million to 63 to 150 million in Palm Beach. I mean, South Florida
Yeah.
has got everything you could possibly want. So, do you stock certain type of inventory based on the home? Is there certain levels for you to offer, or how does that work?
I mean, truthfully, I do primarily luxury staging, which is really nice furniture, accessories, artwork, because our intention is to elevate the home, right? To make it look even better than what it already is. So, I mean, I don't really have different tiers. I know there are different tiered stagers, but we are really luxury stagers, and that's where we've had the most success.
So it always
Um,
looks good.
so it always looks good, and I would rather do less rooms and do them right than skimp on a room, right? So for me, it's really important to me for the houses to look good, for the scale of the furniture be correct, because we're doing a lot of very large homes, so you can't put a small sofa in a big house. So that really matters to me, the design and the scale and the flow of the house. So
That's
that's what makes the biggest impact.
So that brings up a different question for me, right? So I'm a realtor and I've just taken a listing. When is the best time, or when is appropriate for me to contact Marisa and say, listen, I need to get this done, or should I wait a week? Should I do it before I do it? What do you
Oh,
recommend?
I you need, as soon as you're getting that listing, you need to call us in. Or if you know you're going to get the listing, call us in, because we need to go in there and plan, take pictures, measure, come up with a staging plan that works for that house. I mean, the wait and see approach is not always the best approach.
Yeah.
So I have found that realtors that have staged before, okay, like this realtor, the story I just told you, I guarantee you he will be calling me right away when he gets the next listing that doesn't look that great, because he's already experienced the power of staging, so he knows what we can do. So those realtors that now become believers in staging are the ones that really are the ones that are really using us for this, for their projects, for their listings. And
So are
then what
those
happens over time is they become better realtors because their statistics go up, right? So now you're a realtor, you stage your homes, and now your houses are selling in 30 days instead of 90 days, 120 days. Why? Because you staged your house. So you become a better realtor and your statistics become better.
Well, so I think there's 2 points there, right? Is pricing the home appropriately for the market, and also making it look as presentable as possible, because you are in sales, right? We're selling something. And
Yes.
so if you walk into the property and you think to yourself, this is going to be tough, you should immediately call Marisa, right? That's it. There's no other question about it, right? So,
Right, you shouldn't wait, you shouldn't test the market and see what happens, because when houses go on the market initially, that's when they have the most interest, right? That's once it hits the market, it's a fresh new listing, let's go look at it. But if you hit the market and you don't look that great, you're not gonna get the same response.
well,
You're
that's the
just not.
difficulty too, because it costs you twice as much, because you got to pay for photos to come in and take pictures of the home. And if you have pictures with old furniture and cluttered home, you certainly got to redo that the second time after the staging. So it's important to get the staging done as quickly as possible so you can present it as quickly as you can everywhere out there to the public. So that's a great point.
Yeah, yeah, it makes a big difference. But, I know some sellers are, maybe I'll just say hard-headed, maybe they don't wanna go down that route. And so we have staged houses like this one, it's been on the market 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, and staging is cheaper than a price reduction, right? The cost of staging is going to be much less than any price reduction you could possibly do. So it's really worthwhile. Now, if the property is ridiculously overpriced, no amount of staging is going to sell. But if I just always
Right, right.
disclaimer, but if the house is priced within reason and it's just not showing well, your best bet is to stage it. to stage it, because otherwise your next marketing tool is a price reduction.
So 2 questions for you. How quickly, if I call you, and say, listen, I have a listing coming up, how quickly can you get in and stage in the Miami area?
Right. Well, usually we have a 1 to 2 week lead time.
Okay.
So, once you sign my agreement, we probably can do it within a week to 2 weeks. If I know it's coming, we'll pencil it in. We do beautiful high-end staging, so we need time to plan. We just, sometimes we can do it quicker, but usually I say 1 to 2 weeks. We work with a lot of developers that are calling us, when the house is, a mess still. The walls aren't even up. But they've already learned that when you stage a house, it sells faster and for more money than if you're presenting it empty. So that's how early on we see houses.
It gives me the last 2 questions here. Do you get calls typically just from the agents, or do you ever get calls directly from clients saying, hey, listen, I'm thinking about putting my house on the market? Does that ever happen?
A lot. Yes, it's happening more and more where sellers are Googling stagers and they're finding me. And I'm getting a lot of calls from sellers that they want their house staged. Maybe they haven't decided on the realtor yet.
Right.
But they're like, yes, right? They
That was
haven't
my
decided on the
question. Yeah.
realtor yet. They haven't decided on the realtor, but they're looking into staging already, which
Well,
tells you something.
that's absolutely interesting, and I've heard that before. I was just trying to confirm that was true. And then the final question, in that case, obviously the seller might be contacting you because they want to stage it. But do you know, I mean, historically, has the agent paid you for the staging, or is it really the seller is splitting it or the seller's paying? What have you seen in South Florida?
I've seen all kinds of scenarios. I've seen everything. I've seen scenarios where the owners paid for it 100%. I've seen where the realtor pays half. I've seen where the owner pays for it all, and then maybe the realtor pays half at closing, or so realtors get really creative regarding the staging to help them win the listing.
That's
Yeah.
That's great advice, because really it is a listing tool as well. And, having that experience of getting, on average, closings happen more quickly, less days on market, higher price for your sale. It really does help you, as you mentioned, as a professional, to really show your skill set out there. So it's absolutely worth it. And how it's paid for can be very flexible and negotiable as it goes through. So what is the final question? What is the highest priced home that you've seen down there that you've staged?
Well, currently I have a $9 million house fully staged, and I have a house that's an owner occupied where we actually staged the house, certain rooms, for 69 million.
Yowza. Okay, so there's a swing there. So, but you do homes that are just in the $1 million price point. So that's
Right. Yes. Yeah. Like, between $1 million and 6-7 million is usually where most of my staging jobs land.
okay. So for those of you watching right now, $1 million in Miami is a low price point, is an average price point. So that's not a normal market. So just to say,
No.
that's like a $400,000 home in most markets. It's a normal home, right? So when
Yes.
people say $1 million house, $1 million house, right? So, but staging goes, and again, the real final question is, this just struck me, was what are the most important rooms to stage in your experience?
Very good question. The most important rooms to stage is right when you walk in. The main areas, the entry, living, dining, family, kitchen, and primary bedrooms, I think, are crucial. And then I always say any room that feels awkward or small, right? So yes, because rooms that are empty looks even smaller.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you stage those, if it's just a full bed that fits in there, then that's what fits, and at least people can say, okay, I can fit a full bed in here, because many times that room without the full bed looks like nothing fits.
Looks like a closet that you might be able to put
Looks like a closet,
Exactly.
or sometimes we'll do other combinations of furniture, to make that room make sense. So it's just so people can say, hey, this room is small, but look, I can use it. I can still use it. So
Well,
it tells the true story.
Showhomes Miami can help you out, especially if you're in South Florida. So, Marisa, I really appreciate you joining. That's some tremendous advice for folks watching
I'm
out there,
good.
and for all of our realtors. And again, I wish you nothing but the best of luck down there, and can keep doing a great job for everybody. And we appreciate you from the real estate side of the fence. So,
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. It's been great.
have a great day. Thank you for
All
joining.
right. You too. Thanks a lot.